There is an available choice for teacher evaluation framework. The principal and the school counselor evaluation frameworks will follow the one available state framework for each evaluation system. The available framework choices for teacher evaluation are to use the original framework, the alternative framework, or the sliding scale framework that was in place previously. Only those districts that had taken advantage of the sliding scale alternative framework in the past can have this choice available to them, and they must still be under the bargaining agreement that was in place when that decision was made. This graphic depicts the original teacher evaluation model, the model that was used in previous school years. As you can see, the middle circle represents that the evaluation is comprised of 50% performance on the standards and 50% from student growth measures. Your district or community school may choose to use this model or framework again this school year. This is a district decision that is entered by the superintendent or designee and is chosen by the entire district or community school. This graphic depicts the alternative teacher evaluation model. As you can see, this represents that the evaluation is comprised of 50% performance on the standards, 35% from student growth measures, and the remaining 15% is from a choice of student surveys, portfolios, teacher self-evaluation, peer review evaluation, or a district-developed component. Your district or community school may choose to use this model this school year. Again, this is a district decision, and the model chosen is to be used by the entire district or community school. However, the 15% component will be chosen for teachers on an individual basis. For principal evaluation, all evaluations will follow the original framework of 50% based on performance measures and 50% based upon student growth measures. When looking at the framework for the Ohio School Counselor Evaluation System, note that the standards are the basis for the ratings. This is a graphic of the standards-based framework. Districts are required to align with the framework. The model provides more information than the framework alone. For additional information, please see the Ohio School Counselor Evaluation System model, and you may wish to attend a training from a state trainer at a local ESC. The Ohio School Counselor Evaluation System model is designed to provide support for the implementation of the State Board of Education approved School Counselor Evaluation Framework, and this model is a professional growth model and is intended to be used to assist in improving school counselor performance. Evaluations of school counselors must be conducted by evaluators who are approved by the local Board of Education and who have successfully completed the OTES state training. A strong school counselor evaluation calls for ongoing collaboration and authentic conversation between the school counselor and the evaluator. And the foundation of the system is the transparent, two-way gathering and sharing of evidence that informs the school counselor's final summative rating at the end of the school year. Once the superintendent or designee has completed the LEA setup and overnight processing occurs, the district can begin using eTPES for the performance side of the evaluation systems. The system will allow setup for the use of student growth measures and metrics of student outcomes at a later time. The following information is presented in order for districts to think about and make decisions before having to enter the setup in eTPES. Later this school year, the superintendent or designee will enter a decision based upon participation in Safe Harbor and the use of value added this year. What you will see on this screen is that the decision to use value added for teachers is a separate decision from the decision to use value added for principals. You should notice that if value added will be used, a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, is required to be uploaded as a PDF. The MOU PDF can be the same for both the teacher and principal usage, but would have to be uploaded in each area. Questions have been raised regarding principal evaluation and if an MOU is needed if the principals are not part of a bargaining unit. This may not be an MOU, but it is some sort of documentation or agreement that value added is to be used in the principal evaluation. What this document is called may differ from district to district based upon what is in place at the local level. School counselors will use metrics of student outcomes and do not have the availability of a choice to use Safe Harbor. Remember that teachers and principals will not use value-added ratings from state tests that were given in the 14-15 and the 15-16 school years as part of their evaluations unless the districts and educators have entered into a Memorandum of Understanding, or MOU, to allow the continued use of these value-added ratings for the 2015-2016 and the 2016-2017 school years. And further, value-added ratings from these state tests will not be used for making decisions regarding dismissal, retention, tenure, or compensation unless districts and educators have entered into a Memorandum of Understanding to allow for the use of these value-added ratings. When no value-added data are used and no other student academic growth measures are available, the teacher evaluation shall be based solely on teacher performance measures. Performance measures are only applied to A1 teachers who have no MOU and hence no value-added data. Since A1 teachers would not be eligible for less frequent evaluations without a student growth measure, districts could decide to use approved vendor assessments or local measures, such as SLOs, for those teachers. If a district determines that it will use value-added data in evaluations this year, value-added usage will not differ from the way it has been used in the past. All the legal requirements and business rules established through the Ohio Department of Education regarding the use of value-added would need to be followed. For Category B and C teachers, there really is no change in the use of ODE approved vendor assessment data and no change when using SLOs. The district may use value-added shared attribution for these teachers if an MOU is in place for using value-added data for all applicable educators. When there is no MOU present and the district has determined that it will not be using value-added data in the calculation of student growth measures for principal or teacher evaluation, then the superintendent or designee signifies this by marking no separately for the teachers and no for principals. At this time, it is anticipated that the superintendent or designee may need to enter the decision if the district will participate in roster verification or linkage this spring. This is a decision that will be made by all districts regardless of the use of an MOU or not regarding the use of value-added data. If the district chooses to participate in roster verification, a contact will need to be designated. If the district determines that it will not participate in roster verification, then data available from EMIS will be used. This district then would not have the opportunity to verify the value-added data.